Just check whether you are able to have the permission for the recording or not.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So in last sessions, we discover more features and benefits, how it is going to work, and what the things in the decorator, generator, iterable, iter tools, right? So now we'll proceed further and we'll see what are the different modules which is available into the Python and that we are going to explore more. Okay. So we have one module in Python that is known as array module. Then how it is different from the others, right? How it is different from the different modules till now, whatever the modules like sys and other things we have said, right? So how it is different and how we can create and import the array into the Python, that is our topic. Okay. So we'll see introduction. Okay. Then how to create as well as some of the existing array we can import into the Python that we are going to see. Okay. So what actually this array, how compatible you are with the term this array, what actually this array means to you?
It's like a data structure contains of elements, group of elements.
Okay. And it is the like the group of the element, that's fine. And in the case of array, the elements will be stored in the consecutive memory. There will be no gap between the how the elements is stored. One by one it will be stored, right?
Yeah.
Then what is the Python array module? So this Python array module is nothing. It's basically the module, okay, and this module will gives like other modules also given us some of the different features and other things, right? So this Python array module will give us an object type return type, okay. Like if you have the group of the things, it will return you the object of that one, okay. Means a group of the elements is there and all element will be clubbed together into a single object and that is going to be returned by this Python array module, okay. Yeah, and like as you mentioned, what is this Python array module? So it's simply the collection of types of values. The value may be different types also. Okay, here what it is going to have the value that may be integer also, a string also, it may be. Okay, so how we can create this one and what are the things that we are going to see, right?
Yeah.
So before creating anything, any modules, whenever we are going to work with any of the module, okay, in Python, first of all, we need to import that module, right? So how we are going to import? So this is the syntax to import. Okay, make sure the array is a small case only, not the capital. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how we can import, right? But we have the seen that if we have imported this module into our case, now how we can make use of this into our program, right? How we can make use of this one. So there is some syntax to create the array. Okay. So how we can create? So we need to see the syntax. How and where exactly you have to create. Okay, how we will create the object? Any clue? Any idea?
Um,
No idea.
mm,
No worry. So if we have already imported the array, so suppose like if you define any particular class, okay, and inside that class, what you want to do? You want to create the array. Okay, so how you will create and what you are going to create? You are going to create the array, right? And you have seen that any of the imported modules, is not going to be called directly. It should be called with the imported module's name itself, right? So
Yeah.
array dot array we are going to call, and inside that we need to give the conditions and other things how it is going to be initialized. Okay,
Yeah.
that syntax we need to provide over here. So how you can provide? So here you need to mention the initialization. Okay, I'm not writing the full. Okay, just let me write it. Here we need to write the initializer, means what value it should be initialized and what could be the difference in text for the initialization that we need to write. But actually this is the syntax. Okay, array dot array, and in that we need to pass the initialization values. Okay, so how we are going to do it in practical, because we see the syntax, now we will see certain example. Based on that we are going to sorry for this, we are going to see how it is going to work, right? So let me open the id or the this any of one is sufficient. So what we are going to do, we are going to first, let me write it. Okay, anyhow, so as we have seen that if we need to work, first we need to import it, right?
Uh-huh.
So we have imported now. So array object is available to us, right? Now we need to see how we are going to initialize the things. So how it will work? Array dot array, and inside that we need to, if you click over here, it will give you the things, details of this one array. Then it is asking one type code and the initialization, right?
Yeah.
So what could be the type code and what could be the initialization? Type code is nothing but it like how we are declaring the variables I, j and other things, right? The same manner we need to define it, like for the for loops and other things from the 0 to 10, something like that, we were making use of that, right?
Yeah.
So the same things you need to write one type code over here. So type code I initially for the integers we can take I, and we'll proceed to work on that one. Then comma, and what it is asking? It is asking the now the initialized value,
Yeah.
means there should be some value by which the array is going to be initialized. So suppose I am taking 1 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, so if you, so there hold for 1 minute. Okay, yes, so we were talking that in the array we have to take some type code, and then we have to take the values or the elements inside that one, correct?
Yeah.
So by
Yeah.
this we will initialize the array. After initializing, we cannot directly work on this one, right? So we need to assign this to some variable like this, correct? So I have
Yeah.
taken the variable that is the ARR. You can take any name, the convenient, but it should be like, it doesn't take XYZ, something like that. So if you are dealing with array, you can take this ARR. Now what we are going to do, we will check whether it is successfully created or not. What it is saying?
Yeah. The I is not defined.
Yeah. Then what could be the possible solutions for this one? Because we are simply using this I, we are not doing any work on this, right?
Yeah.
From where it will come to know that what actually this I is.
We have to define I for.
Either we can define. So let me just try this one. This way, because here we are declaring the constant, right? I.
Yeah.
So hopefully now it's created, array is created, there is no error, right? So we
Yeah.
need to verify whether if we have created any array by the above syntax, so whether it is created or not, correct? How we can verify? So we can simply print this. If something is created and some content is assigned inside this ARR, then it will give us the result, right?
Yeah.
So what we are going to see, so array is successfully created with the type code I and value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correct.
Yeah.
So similar way, as I mentioned, that array can be created with any kind of the values, right? So it doesn't necessary that it is going to create only for the integers and other things.
Mhm.
Okay. So what we can do now? We'll initialize this one only, and we'll check whether it is working properly or not. So array equal to array dot array, and this time what we are going to pass over here is what we will pass.
Value and initialization. Let's
Suppose I
say,
am giving this content as a initialization, right? Again, if
yeah.
I am executing this one, it will give us the error, right? Right? Because it didn't satisfy the conditions how we are going to create the array. There is
Yeah.
certain, yeah. So if you look at the error, type error, last line, it is saying array argument 1 must be Unicode character.
Yeah.
Got it? Unicode characters means a single code character it should be. It could be anything. Like previously we have seen the I. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Just in this one only put I and just verify whether it is working or not, because previously we have seen that it was working, right?
Okay, can you hold on a second?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yep. Shall we continue?
Yeah.
Yep. So I was talking like that previously we have seen that whenever we are creating the array and we have given the typecast as a single character I, and it was working successfully, right?
Uh-huh.
So now we need to demonstrate over here whether it is working correctly or not, or we need to do some changes or what it is saying the error, right? So if
Yeah.
you see this line, we are executing, try to execute this one and what it is saying.
We got initializer, so we need to have an
Yeah.
initializer.
So if you see the initialize an array with the type code I, because then it cannot be used. Why? Then what could be the different solution for this one? Right? We need to think on this one. So we have the some more solutions. I will execute it first and then we'll be able to show you. So instead of I, now I will make use of this U and will explain what actually this is. Now if you are able to see, instead of I, if I am using U, it is successfully going to be created, right? If we again see the content, what is the content inside this one, it is saying, correct? Array is created with the, if we are passing the second argument, that is the single one, and that two is the string only, right? Hello. It is not like the integers 1, 2, 3, 4 at the list, right? In previous
What?
one, yeah, that's what I'm telling. So if you look over here, in the first example, we have given the array element as the something, the list type of the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something, right? So it was the integer type, correct?
Yeah.
For that, I was successfully working, but the same I is not working with the string type. If you look over here, it is saying it's not str, because I is not the str over here. Why?
Oh, it was taken I as a integer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that too we will explain. Let me close some of the applications which is unwantedly coming to my system. Okay. So we seen that I for integers working, I for strings it is not working. Correct.
Yeah.
Then we will further cross check this one. Right. We will now check that one, the previous one which was working with the I. Now we need to check this with the U, whether it is working or not. No, it is not working. Why? There is some logic behind this one, right?
Yeah.
So for the integers, I was successfully working. For U, it is not working. For string value, U is working, I is not working. So how we can be able to verify it and what actually this is, right? So if you click over here, like what it is typecast, type code, right? Correct? It was type code only, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you come over here, it is saying type codes. Now, this type code is something which is having some inbuilt methods also. Capitalize, case, fold, consider, count, other thing. Formatting, find, index, is digit or not. So just check. First we will see. If we execute this one, what it is saying. Let me assign this to some. Okay. This array we will take. Okay. And we'll work on this one only. And then we need to check whether this is working or not. And if it is working, what the value it is saying. Now if we print A, what it is saying?
Building method is digit of.
Is digit is an inbuilt method of the string object, and for that it is showing some value. If we click A dot something, if it is having any specific value, any method, what is this hash method? You remember what actually this hash method is? Hello.
Yeah. So you.
Hash coded means whenever we are creating any object in a memory, right, there will be some ID associated with that, and there will be some hash code with that, right?
Yeah.
It will not work over here because it is not defined as the particular ID inside that ID function. You can try this like this one. Got it?
Okay.
So if you have to check the ID of a particular object created into the memory, how you can check? So this is how you can check it out. Then similarly, whether there is a possibility to check this hash code for this one, yes, we have the possibility. So these are the simply hash is the memory location. Okay, at this particular location, A is created with this name. Okay. Now, how it is related to our codes that we are seeing over here. what actually this type codes, right? We were discussing about the what actually this type codes. So come over here. A. What it is saying? What it is saying, Sudhir?
Something location.
No, not location. So this is a particular, whenever you are executing array.type codes, okay, it will give you the particular string representation which are all available type codes. Okay. Got any idea?
Yeah.
What?
Something.
So if you look at the previous examples, in the type code we have used I, in the type code I have used U. Okay. Just check whether that two are present in this list or not. I is present in this output. U is
present.
U is also present. I is also present.
Yeah.
So what the output over here you are seeing by executing this A, it's nothing but it is the total type of the different type codes. Each and every character over here is a different type codes that we are using over here, like I for U. Okay. So these are the only available type codes: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 3, 13. So totally 13 different type codes which is available into the array. You need to explore what locations, what type code can be used. Got it?
Yeah.
So, so suppose if it is showing you the bunch of the type code, right? It's and just now it shows totally 13 type codes, right? If we want to explore a particular type code only, how we can see it? It is not having, as we have already seen that in the, if we click the dot and then dot, it is having only array type and this type codes only. There is no particular type code, right? It is not going to give you the single value. So usage of these two, you have seen U and I. You need to see once you open that Python documentation, right? If you have the Python documentation, you can directly open it, or you can make use of any of the browser, okay, and just give only two keywords. Why you people are opening? It will give you the list of all the different type codes with their uses. Okay, so what you can do, Python array type code. Okay, for a string, if you type for a string, it will give you the below syntax only. These are the only for strings. Okay.
Yeah.
Out of 13, what it is, how it is different. And there is a possibility that in array 2. Python 2.7 or any 2.x version, the similar type code may be not present in the Python 3. Okay. So as you can see here, it is Python 3. So we'll hit enter over here and it will give you the documentation part over here, docs.python.org. Okay, click on this one. It will show you the different type codes. These are the different type codes. Okay, and it will give, it is the total 13 type codes what we have seen just now. Got it?
Yeah.
So it is saying for double value, whenever you are using the double value, you have to make use of this D. Okay, like how for this normal integer, right? Signed int, we have used this I. There are certain values which is signed and unsigned, right? If you see for the the particular range for this I, someone will start from 0, right? 0 to particular range, integer type. But if you check for the unsigned, it will be in the negative and positive both sides, right? If it is for 65,535 is the limit for the integer, right? So let me just means for integers it is 65,335 or some 55 is the range. Just check it out, cross check. So this is the range. Okay. So for signed it will start from 0 to this, right? For unsigned this will be divided into two parts. First part will be the negative from minus this to 0, and then second one 0 to this one. Correct?
Yeah.
So similar, if you see what is the use of U, so it will tell you for a particular Unicode characters, right? Because here what the strings we have used, that is nothing but it is a group of the characters only, right? It is not, we don't have the string data type over here. So these are the different types of the code, okay, which is available into the Python, and these are the totally how many?
1, 2.
13 that we have seen over here just now, right? So totally 13 type codes is available into the Python, and there may be a questions, and I think by looking at this documentation page for this Python, you are more clear that what actually this type code and where we have to use which type of the type codes, right?
Yeah.
Correct? I think there will be no confusion if you look over here.
Yeah.
So always if you have any kind of the doubt, okay, if you just open the Python documentation page only. So there will be multiple blocks, right? Multiple sites will be there, like the W3 resource you can see over here. Here also it will give you the complete definition. Okay, what actually this type codes is, right? If you look over here, it is showing you the same information. But there may be chances that it is not the showing you for the updated one, right? What versions you are going to be used, right? But if you look over here, it is showing 3.8.4, and currently I'm using the 3.8.3 or 4, something like that. So it's approx the same, right? So it will be no particular differences. I hope so. There will be no differences. If you look over here, the Python 2.7 documentation, we have the sorry. Look over here. It's also having the type codes available, right? But there may be chances that it will change.
Yeah, there are some differences.
Maybe it's not that it will be changed, but there is chances. Got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that will be also specific to the versions of the Python, right? Now, if you look over here, the Python, it is for the 2 version, right? 2.7. Dot array types, right? What happened? I think I lost the earphone connection. 1 minute. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Earphone got switched off, and we are talking now. Right? Sudhir?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, is it audible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking about this 2 version documentation. If you look over here, it is saying array dot array type, right? It is also showing array dot type code, right? But just now we have seen over here, array dot type code is not available into the 3.8. Got it?
Yeah.
It is not available. But in 2 version, it was available. So there is a little bit a modification. So don't bother on that documentations. We are following the upgraded version 3 only. So whatever the 3 it is available, it will list you. Got it? So what are the different other features which is available into array? So like if we talk for this, there was earlier one method that is available as the type code in 2.x, but in 3 it is not available. Okay. So what are the possibility of available things into the Python 3 version. Click on this one, and it is showing only three things is available, right?
Yeah.
Array type, array, and type codes. Remaining things is not available. So for understanding of the things, always prefer to go for this documentation. It will be always updated. Earlier, when we talk for the previous version, so somewhere if you are finding like this one, array dot type code, it was available, but now it's not available in 3.x. We have some item size also, okay, which was previously available, but now it is not available. Okay. So it depends on the version, but anyhow you have come to know that how we are going to create the array. Earlier we were having the something like in array we were having the append method. So if you have once array something is 1 2 3 4 5 is created and you want to add one more element, so you can put like that 7 or 8, it will be appended to the last of that.
Okay.
Earlier we were having the count method also, but it's not present right now into the case of the Python 3.8. Got it?
Yeah.
This is how we talk for the array in the case of the Python. Now, sometimes you will find some codes which is written into the programming which is going to work on the some random numbers and something like that, right? So what actually it is and from where it is coming. So that is another features which is available into the Python for generating with the random numbers, but it is not include. We are not going to talk over here. It will be talked when we will have the overview or the NumPy Panda and other like, right? That time we will talk on that because beginning only I mentioned that we will have a means basic overview on that part also, how it is going to work. So similar kind of the modules like the array module, sys module, and other modules, we have that calendar modules. If we have to work on that calendar, mostly not important. Date and time is one of the modules that may be helpful whenever we are dealing with the date and time. Okay. So similar kind, whenever we are dealing with the date and time, this is the one of the modules. So when it's not like that it is always required, but whatever the required modules is there, like array and sys and other things that we have already covered, but these are also present, that I mean to say, right? So similar kind, whenever you are going to deal with any of the calendar module, there will be some calendar also, it will be present. Okay, so what you have to do, if you need to make use of this calendar into your code, right? So for that, first of all, you need to import it, right? Based on that calendar, you can make use of that.
Yep.
So that is not very much important over here to go through this one. So I'm leaving to you. Okay, you can further explore it, but little bit if we talk 1 2 examples, I can be able to show you like how it is going to work. So just now we talk for the date and time, right? Suppose in our code somewhere we have to write make use of the date and times, right, in our code, right? So how we can do it? So first of all, we need to import that, right? How we are going to import and what we have to import over here, right? So first of all, if we are going to work for the date and time, we need to import the time module. Like this, syntax is clear to you, right? So whatever the things you want to import, you can import it. Based on this time import, if you want to perform some other things also, like this syntax also you are familiar, right? From and then import. So from time, I will import time. Sometimes this inbuilt method will be not available to you directly if you are writing import time, right? Then it will ask from where you want to import it. So this is one of the method. Time is one of the method. If you click on this one, it is what it is giving. How you can be easily able to understand this one.
Oh.
You cannot, it is not incorrect, right? It is not incorrect, but it is in a specific format which we are not aware, right? So then
Yeah.
how we can be able to take it? We have another examples like import time, and from this time object, what we are doing? So if you look over here, what we did,
Same method.
both the statements is same. If you are importing like this one, import time, and then you need to time dot time you have to call, right? It is giving
Uh-huh.
the time into a specific format. Okay, and what is that format, how it is representing the time to us,
We
how it
don't
is
know.
represented? It is giving you the correct time, but we have some epoch method and other things like that, right?
Uh-huh.
That is not the specific method and other things. Epoch. Epoch is one of the fields available into the Python from where the time is getting calculated. So based on that, some hour, minute, and other formats, it is calculating. Okay. So like we have the some IST times, some other times that we have to make use of this one into our case only. And how we are going to make, what are the things we need to take care, that we need to Google out on the documentation part. It will give you the clearly explanation for all the things. Okay, so let me
Yep.
give you the little bit idea on this one. So this was the specific idea of how this time module is going to work. This is these numbers, whatever the numbers you are seeing over here, these numbers is nothing but it is a specific uh, syntax, how the syntax is going to pass into the epoch method of that Python, that in that format itself, it is representing us the result. Then why and how we can get our own time, right? Means the correct representation, so we can easily understand it, right? There may be a question into your mind, right?
Yeah.
So all are present in the time object only because we have imported the time, right?
Yeah.
So if you put one dot, and then if you see over here, it is having the multiple methods available over here, that you need to select based on that what time zone, what are the other things you want to import. Okay, that will be helpful from these methods only. So if you have this ASC time method, if you click on this method, this is the one of the particular method available, right? So that each and every method you need to explore what is the result it is coming from this one. So if I'm explaining this time dot asc time method, right, if I'm executing this one, what it is giving us,
Yeah.
it is
So
giving us the particular format which we are easily comfortable with that, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So like that, if you click on time, it will suggest you more method. Alt zone, do you know what actually this alt zone, what could be the different format for this one? No, right? So what you can do, you can either go for the documentation, or you can make use of this one into over here to see the output. It is asking that, now it is saying, what it is saying, int object is not callable. Then what could be the different syntax, that all you can explore it from the documentation. Okay, don't get confused at how it can be a get clock info. If I'm clicking on this one, built-in function, this is one of the built-in function, but what actually this everything, whatever you are seeing, no one is remembering. Okay, but when the time is required to print and the everything,
Mm.
you can just see here what it is saying, something like that, different format. GM times, right? It is showing you the structured time that year is 2020, month is 7, right? And the day is something 16, and hour, minute, and second, it is showing like that.
Yeah.
But it is what is it? You have heard about the some GMT time and other things. That is the same method it is working. Now I want to make use of this method and I want my local time, right? In my case, it will be differ, and in your case, it will be differ, right?
Yeah.
So how I can be able to get the local times? So if I have simply directly make use of this method, I have seen that it is giving the correct time, right?
Uh-huh.
But sometimes it will not present with the internet, and your the computer instead of India, it is presented to some other locations. So that time you will not be able to see what actually this time it is showing, right?
Yeah.
So time dot, we have the, earlier we were having some method like the local time. Let me see whether that is available right now or not. I think it is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. It is the same only. Working wise same, right? So this is how you can be able to get your local timing. Similarly, if you need to print a particular calendar for a particular month, how you are going to print? What are the things you need to take care first? First of all, you need to import some.
Calendar.
Is there any calendar? Or right now in case of the Python 3.x, it is direct. That we need to again check it out. Okay. Child. I think that we are not able to get it directly. So what we can do, we will execute something, and if it is giving the error, then we can be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
CLENDR. This is the calendar. If you click on this, what it will give? It will not give you any suggestions because it is not able to get what actually this calendar object is. But suppose if I have executed, means already imported this one calendar dot month, okay, and inside that I want to print the particular year, okay. So this is the year, and which month you want to print. So suppose like the November or the December, right? So November will be like 11. So if we execute this one, this is the syntax, okay. By the calendar object, you are going to call the month. So for which year, which month you want to call. So this is the syntax. So if we execute this one, it will say that calendar is not defined. Now, how we can define it? Let me try manually because I don't remember exact syntax now. Okay, maybe it will work. I think it is working now. Okay, it has imported, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm calling this one, it is given the complete month. You can see over here November 2017, and this is what the format of the complete month it has shown. Like that, it is going to show you. Okay, but here you are not comfortable to see this one, right? This output.
Yeah.
Why? Because it has given you the normal txt format output, which you don't want, right?
Yeah.
So let me try and write inside the print, okay, what it is going to give the output. Okay, so this is the exact things we want to print it. Because if this syntax calendar dot month, if you are using at this IDE, the Python shell, it is working like this one. But the same thing if you are printing into this PyCharm, so here you need to make use of the print method only, right, to display the result. Correct?
Yeah.
And this is how it is going to look like. So these are the some of the additional module, okay, like calendar, we have the date and time. Similarly, we have the some clock also. If we want to see the particular clock, we already have the time as the imported module, right? We have imported in somewhere import time, right? So
Yeah.
by making use of this time dot, suppose if I want to see the particular clock, let me see whether these methods is working applicable over here or not. This is the syntax. Time has no attribute clock because it has just stopped. There may be always it is going to change the things. Okay, so it has changed the syntax over here. And instead of that, we have seen that time method. It is SC time. It was giving the time, or if we want that GM time, it is showing us the uh, time in the different time zone, right?
Mhm.
Basic funda of these examples are like how it is going to work and what could be the different syntax. Okay, so only you have to import it and you have to make use. Now sometimes it is not showing the available method, so what you can do, so for the particular available Python versions, you have to see the documentations and what are the different methods available over here, which is supported now in the current Python version, right? That you need to
Yeah,
check it out from the
Python.
Python. So earlier we were having some also the particular not date and time.
Mhm.
Earlier we have seen the date and time separately, right? Now we were having also one of the module that is known as date time combined together. Let me check. Oh,
It is space.
yeah. So date and time is one of the particular module. So if it is imported, there will be certain methods available over here, right? How we can check what are the different available methods? So if you date and time dot, if it is something is available, it will list us, right?
Yeah.
So it is saying that max year means the maximum number 4 digit is the year will be in the form of the YYYY, right?
Yeah.
So maximum value for that one will be the, what will be the maximum value?
Uh, wait.
999, right?
9 and yeah.
Correct. This is how it
Yeah.
is going to work. If you talk for the minimum now, okay. So 991, the maximum we'll see what is the minimum. So according to what could be the minimum? 1, because it will be start from 1 only. It is not going to start from 0 and other things, right?
Yeah.
These are the different available modules: date, time, calendar, date and time, right? These are the things. So these are the all modules which we are generally making use of in our normal programming. So all the modules is now completed. Okay, we have
Okay.
left with some of the different topics now itself, not any of the module. We left with the topics. Like as you have heard somewhere about the lambda expressions and other things in different programming language, not used,
Yeah.
but you have heard about, right? So that
Yeah.
are the different things, how the lambda expression is working and other things that we will cover tomorrow.
Okay.